Welcome. Today we're going to talk about a thing called Marxism. It's one of those major important philosophies that comes about in the middle of the 1800s. It's one of those alternate visions of society. In the Industrial Revolution, the working class was treated very poorly. They generally were not fans of what was happening. They were abused. The employers treated them poorly. They lived in very, very terrible conditions, and they struggled with everything. And so people started to look around and say, what can we do? How can we make this better? And in the end, they came up with several different visions of society, different ways they could see the way society functioned change. This is one of those ways. So it comes because things are really awful. This particular solution was proposed by two guys. One was named Karl Marx, and the other was named Friedrich Engels. Now, Engels doesn't get most of the credit for this. In history, we go with Marx, and we call it Marxism. Now, they published this in a book called the Communist Manifesto. And sometimes people get confused. Oh, wait, is this Marxism or is this communism? Well, Marxism is one of several different kinds of communism. It's the first real kind. And you'll learn about others in the future. But for now, Marxism is just that kind of communism. So Marxism, communism. In 1848, when this is published, they are just exactly the same thing. And that's the thing. So Marxism is a kind of communism. But what is it? What are these guys suggesting? Well, there's a few things. First, Karl Marx sees the world in very, very binary terms. There are just two social classes, two ways of doing things. The first social class is a group called the proletariat. The proletariat is that working class, those people who, did all the work and were very, very, very sad. That's the first class. The second class, the group that lead them and tell them what to do, is called the bourgeoisie. Let me say that again. The bourgeoisie. They are the people in charge. They're the ones who tell the proletariat what to do. They're the bosses. Now, eventually, Marx believes that the working class will rise up. They will have an enormous revolution. It's inevitable. They can't stand to be mistreated for too long. So they will rise up and they will overthrow the bourgeoisie. The proletariat will take control of everything. There will be an enormous revolution, the communist revolution. And this is what Marx believes. Now, once that happens, the proletariat is now in charge. That you understand the relationship between the working class and the upper class, and that eventually the working class will rise up and overthrow, and that's Marxism. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to set up a new government. And don't try to overcomplicate this. Proletariat. Myself space. The proletariat will set up a government, and they'll call it, or Marx calls it, the dictatorship of the proletariat. The dictatorship of the proletariat will come in, and they will create a society that is fair and equal for everybody. They will force everyone to share everything. Now, the bourgeoisie, of course, is now just under the thumb of the proletariat. And the proletariat tells them what to do. Marx believed that eventually the proletariat would be so successful in forcing this sharing that everyone would realize how great this system is. Everyone would say, this communist thing, this is awesome. Everybody likes it, everybody's going to share. And so there would no longer be the necessity for this dictatorship. There would no longer be any social classes. There would not be a proletariat, there would not be a bourgeoisie, and there would just be complete and total equality. The thing here is, at this point, there's no countries, there's no anything like that. Now, in a practical way, no country has ever, it's never really happened. To represent that with a big X. No country has ever passed the dictatorship of the proletariat stage. In real history, the countries that have tried communism sit there and stay there. One last thing. Marxists hate religion. They call it the opiate of the masses. The reason they do this, an opiate, of course, is a drug. Okay, so religion often says you should be content with the way things are. There will be a better life in the future. As long as you're good now, eventually God will make everything okay and will stop the injustice. Marx says, I don't like that, because if we believe that someday someone else will make it better, we ourselves will never rise up and overthrow the bourgeoisie. So now you know.